Modding in Warframe isn't rocket science, but if you're a new player, it sure feels like it. You open up that mod screen, and it's like, what even is going on here? It's the same feeling you get when you look at the Path of Exile skill tree for the first time. Yeah, it's not quite that extreme, but it's close enough to make you want to close the game and come back next week. But here's the thing. Once it clicks, once you get how mods work, the whole game just opens up. Warframe goes from I don't get it to I am unstoppable. And finally, after 12 years, Digital Extremes is officially doing something about it. The upcoming quest called The Teacher is the update I've been waiting for. And trust me, you should be excited too. So here's what's inside this video. We're breaking down everything we know about Warframe's new modding quest. I'll walk you through what's been revealed so far, why this quest matters so much, and what I hope it teaches new players. Because modding isn't just a side system. It's the backbone of Warframe. If you ignore it, you'll suffer. But if you master it, you'll break the game in the best way possible. Let's talk about the Teacher. So first up, what is it? It's a new quest. That part's obvious, but it's more than that. It's not just a mission where you shoot a few Grineer, get a cutscene, and move on. It's a dedicated modding tutorial, fully wrapped in a lore-heavy cinematic experience. And it's got something new players desperately need: clarity. It's been 12 years since Warframe launched, and until now, modding was something you either had to Google, ask a veteran in region chat, or fumble through with trial and error. But finally, DE is addressing it head-on. The quest is called The Teacher, and it stars none other than Teshin, the mysterious swordsman who just kinda shows up randomly in the story. We know him as a mentor figure, kind of, but we never really got his actual story. In The Teacher, that's changing. Now here's the fun twist. Digital Extremes didn't even make this quest alone. According to Rebecca Ford, Warframe's creative director, it actually took another studio to help get it done. She said, and I quote, "We had the perfect partner to do it." It is a little funny that it took us building a partnership with a co-development studio to get it done. It's very difficult to run a game for 12 years, and everyone thinks there's a silver bullet for what will fix the new player experience. She's not wrong. Warframe's had this weird learning curve since the beginning. It's like throwing someone into a car and saying, "Go drive." Except the steering wheel is upside down and the gas pedal is a flamethrower. The community's been asking for this kind of tutorial for years, and finally, it's happening. Space Mom said herself that she is excited that they're finally able to do it. They had the time and the team, and they had the commitment to plan and execute on this. And that right there, that's why I'm happy. Warframe's modding system is complex, yeah, but it's also amazing. It's what separates Warframe from every other looter shooter out there. It's not just about what gun you're using, it's how you mod it. And now we're getting a proper lore-based walkthrough. She even teased that this quest would finally explain Teshin in a mysterious, lore-rich way. You just kind of meet him right now, like good luck, there's Teshin. So it's about how Teshin enters the story and how he teaches modding. That's a huge deal. Teshin has always been a cool character with almost no real context. He's always been there, but never explained. Now he's the guide, the mentor, the teacher. But I really hope this quest goes beyond just the basics. Because here's the thing. Telling players that mods help you survive longer, or do more damage, or use abilities better, that's fine. It's a good start, but we need more. The system runs deeper than that. And if they're doing a full quest about it, this is the perfect chance to dive in. Let's talk about what I'm hoping the quest will include. First, corrupted mods. These are the double-edged swords of Warframe. You get a huge boost in one stat, like power strength, but you sacrifice something else, like duration. For example, transient fortitude gives you more strength but lowers your duration. It's not for every build, but for frames like Saren or Mirage, these mods can push your damage to insane levels. If the quest doesn't teach new players how to build around that trade-off, they're missing out on one of the most important modding strategies in the game. Second, utility mods. These are the unsung heroes. Stuff like Primed Sure-Footed, a godsend if you hate getting knocked around by enemies. But not every frame needs it. Atlas, for example, has permanent knockdown immunity. So if the quest teaches players which mods are universal and which ones are niche, that's a win. Or take Arrow Vantage. A lot of people throw this mod away, but if you're running an aerial build or trying to get height advantage with guns like the Fullman, it gives a real boost. These little synergies matter. Third, and this is critical, the quest needs to talk about diminishing returns. This is one of the most misunderstood mechanics in Warframe. It's not explained in-game at all, but once you understand it, it changes the way your mod completely. So, let's break it down. Diminishing returns in Warframe means that stacking the same kind of bonus over and over again gives you less and less benefit. It's like if you're eating donuts. Your first one is amazing, your second is still good, but by the time you hit donut number 5, you're not even enjoying it anymore. You're just suffering. In-game, it works like this. Say you have a mod that gives you plus 60% weapon damage. You add another one that gives plus 30%. Your total isn't just 90%. The second one adds less impact than the first because of how the formula scales. At a certain point, stacking more of the same buff stops being worth it. So what does that mean for players? It means you don't always want to chase the highest number. Sometimes, diversifying your mods gives you way more value than just stacking one stat. The teacher quest should teach that, because once players understand it, they can start building smarter, not just stronger. Now let's get into faction mods, one of the most underrated parts of the modding system. These mods give bonus damage to specific enemy types: Grinier, Corpus, Infested, Sentience. On paper, they don't look very exciting, but when paired with damage over time setups, they can absolutely melt enemies. Why? Because they boost the base damage of your weapon, and that damage gets multiplied by each tick of status effects like heat or toxin. So, if you're running a damage over time builds, something like the Ignis Wraith, faction mods can turn it into a delete button. That kind of knowledge should be core to any modding tutorial. Then, of course, there are galvanized mods. These are endgame mods that scale based on how many enemies you kill. They reward momentum, not just raw stats, but they also synergize with something else: status priming. Let's unpack that too. Status priming is when you use a weapon or an ability or a companion to apply multiple different status effects on a single enemy. Think slash, viral, heat, electric, all at once. Why do this? Because of mods like Condition Overload and Galvanized Aptitude. These mods increase your damage based on the number of unique status effects on a target. So if you've hit an enemy with viral and heat and slash and electric, you're stacking massive bonus damage. This is how top-tier players crush Steel Path enemies in seconds. They're not just shooting, they're prepping enemies for destruction. If the teacher quest teaches players this strategy, that alone is worth the quest. Because Warframe isn't just a shooter, it's a math puzzle, wrapped in fast movement and cool visuals. And modding is the system that ties it all together. I hope this quest shows players that. Not just how to equip a mod, but why one mod is better than another in a specific situation. Why survivability is more than just health. Why energy efficiency isn't always what you think it is, and why damage isn't always about raw numbers. Finally, I really hope that the game also teaches about heat inherent. For the basics of this technique, it just refers to a mechanic where the first instance of heat damage applied to an enemy influences the damage of subsequent heat procs from other sources. Essentially, if a weapon or ability with high heat and/or faction damage mods applies the first heat proc, those bonuses are inherited by subsequent heat procs, leading to significantly higher damage. This effect is particularly noticeable when using Warframe abilities like Embers with weapons that have strong heat damage mods. Warframe's modding system is one of the most unique mechanics in gaming. There's no other looter shooter that gives players this much freedom. You can build a frame 100 different ways and make it work. You can turn a low-tier weapon into a monster just by modding it right. That's powerful. That's what makes Warframe special. It just takes some time to learn. And I'm happy, so happy, that DE is finally giving new players a real way to learn it in-game. No more guessing. No more relying on 40-minute YouTube builds or Reddit spreadsheets. Just a proper quest, with story, with purpose, with Teshin, teaching you how to mod like a master. We've waited over a decade for this, and it's finally happening.
Margulis.
Kiss me.